human growth and development. And for those that are listening to the recording, hello, welcome, welcome. I am Miss Bowens. You can call me Miss Bowens or you can call me Bonita, Bonita. Either one. I will answer to both. Now, if you call me something else, I might not answer. Depending on what it is. If you say, hello, darling, hello, baby, I'm from the South. So we use baby a lot in this part of the country, but it's just a term of endearment. That is all. Yeah, we are in human growth and development, and our first week community discussion. I asked, what were your expectations in from this course? Human growth and development. So basically, we all are humans, right? Sometimes I don't feel like a human, okay? But we talk about how we grow, how do we develop, how do we become? And I was looking at the community discussion and I was looking at some of your responses, and you're spot on. You want to learn more about behavior. You want to get to know your clients from a pretty much a kind of like a psychology side of things, if you will. And I'm speaking in terms of client professional relationship. And if you're working in a nursing home, as some of you have said, you want to understand your clients more, where they're coming from. And individuals in the nursing home, you got all types of ages. So when we get to the module that talks about senior aged people, the golden years, call them, well, I don't call them, but they call it the golden years. That's 60 plus. Okay. So that's, typically your senior level individual. So this course is about understanding from a human being in the mother's womb to the golden years, everything that happens in between. Now, you would do a lot of self-learning in this course. It's good that we have the live sessions because we can talk. I love to use everyday language, where to me that drives home more of an understanding of what the heck we're talking about, right? I'm pretty down to earth. Um, I'm trying to think, did I even share anything about me in the what I call the Rasmussen Cafe, where we share a little bit about ourselves, meeting your classmates, some of my good friends until this day I went to school with. Like I said earlier, I went back to school as an adult. So I know the struggles and the accomplishments, the feeling good. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I don't feel like writing another paper. I don't feel like reading another nothing. So I've been there, understand it. So why don't we go ahead and get started? I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, but I want to open the floor um, to everybody to see if you have any questions, comments before we dive in. All right. I like to treat class, and y'all, I like to engage you. I want to set a comfortable environment where you feel like you can just talk. That's the tone that I like to set for our live sessions. If you're able to join, I love it because it's much more engaging. Students ask those questions that somebody else is at the house thinking about, and I am here for you. Instructors are here for you. Don't sit in your perspective homes and wondering, what does this mean? This doesn't make sense. So I'm setting a standard now. I have office hours on Thursdays, 7 p.m. Central. That's 8 p.m. Eastern for me, but 7 p.m. Central Standard Time from 7 to 8. If you would like to talk about your assignments, go over something that's not clear, you do not have to wait until a Thursday to do so. No, you don't. You can call me, you can email me. Those simple questions. I check your messages every day. And if I happen to miss a day, I will catch it the next day. So no worries there. But feel free to call me. Now I do work full time, so between 8 and 6:30, those are like my core work hours. But call me, leave me a voicemail, or send me an email. And the instructions are asked that you will, the college, the university, asks that you give instructors 48 hours, within 48 hours, to get back with you. And those of you that have been here before, let me just, if y'all will put in the chat, if this is your first year, second or third, fourth, where are you in your studies? And I'm gonna switch back to teens because I want to see the year that you've been here. All right, who's gonna go first? Megan, how long have where are you in your educational journey? Ashley, Denicia, Avery, Stacy. All right, let's click on it. All right, Stacy, you are in your second year, finishing up your associates. Woo! Look at you. I love it. Avery, your first year start. Oh, Avery, you started yesterday. Oh my goodness. I love it. Congratulations. You got one ending and the other one starting. Let's see. First year at Rasmussen, but second quarter. All right. Okay. Let's see here. That's Megan. Let's see here. All right. Avery's going to get her nursing associates. Oh, baby, your world is about to really take off. Megan's second year, first year, Avery, second year, Stacy. I love it. All right, Denise's first year at Rasmussen. Y'all just, I can't tell you, Megan, you're a Texas born and raised. You understand me well. But y'all hang tight together. Hang tight together. Help each other. Build a network to help each other do your assignments, understand stuff. And I mean, I'm telling you, it's a beautiful thing when you can, and I'm giving y'all thumbs up. I have to, because I love it, love it, love it. And build a network to help each other. Even after this course, um, help each other out. Okay. So, all right, with that, y'all, let's go ahead. Thank you so much for that. And y'all don't be shy. If I don't like to, if you don't feel like talking, just relax with your cup of coffee, your cup of hot tea, you got a turkey sandwich, some chips, whatever. Bring those, be relaxed. Whatever the case may be, I want you to be relaxed while you join this class. I do like to keep it to 30 to 40 minutes. On the first night, I usually talk a little bit because I want to make sure I go over stuff we need for the class so you'll know exactly where things are, um, that kind of stuff. It's, that's quite all right. Ashley said your computer's kind of slow. Listen, I understand. All right, y'all, let's get back to it. I'm getting down to the nitty gritty, as they say. Y'all probably never heard that. But watch me first assignment. Guess what? If you don't watch that, it doesn't open up your other assignments. You won't see anything. Make sure that you do that. It gives you the greetings about the course. It tells you about things that you're going to need, how to complete it, accessing all your course material. Click on it. It's a few minutes long. A lot of you have already completed that. Love it. Knock it on out of the way. There's tutoring available for writing. If you do your writing assignments and you finish early, you want to say, hey, I want somebody to look at this. Definitely do that. I encourage you to do that. Our course schedule, we have 6 modules, and I'm going to stop because in week 6, the last day of class, all your assignments are due. I'm going to be quiet for a second because I want that to sink in. Week 6, your last night of class is in May. I think it's May 12th. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. What's the last day of this course? Look at your schedule. I'm gonna say your schedule and make sure that I am correct on. I think it's May 12th. All of when I say all your assignments are due, that is just for week 6 because you will be doing your assignments each week, right? So in your last week, I'm just saying that all of your assignments will be due that night. And after 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time, the coursework is locked. So you want to kind of get ahead of the game. I like to tell students early so you can put it on a sticky note. I'll put a reminder in your phone, put it on the calendar in your phone. So it will remind you, hey, week 6 is coming up. Make sure your assignments are in. Looking at module 1, what are we looking at? We're looking at how they did research years and years and years ago. What do they have? It's called Institutional Review Board. I like to say that's the parents of studies. So when they conducted studies, they did not have an institutional review board. That board is consisted of a bunch of professionals from different walks of life, and they make sure that anybody that participates in a clinical study did not misuse the information, is not breached. They protect their privacies. They don't misuse the participants. You're going to read some case studies, and you're going to pick your own, and you're going to talk about several things about that study. It's pretty interesting. And the best part about it, I love this assignment because you choose graphics, you choose GIFs, pictures that go along with the content that you're presenting in PowerPoint. If you hadn't used PowerPoint before, let me know. We do have the Writing Center that can help you with that. I can help you with that. And I want you to have fun with that because it's new knowledge. So, again, years and years ago, before any of us were ever thought about being born, that's how they did people. They misused people badly. They couldn't get away with that today, hence the reason for the IRB, Institutional Review Board. Now, I've been talking a lot about Module 1. What questions do we have? I'm going to look at the chat. Any comments? I'm going to get a sip of water because my throat is dry. My sinuses are crazy. That cold water did it. So, all right, Megan says Canva is a great free app you can use to create graphics, to paste into in PowerPoint if you struggle with it. Megan, thank you. Thank you so much. For this week, and we'll get more into that when we look at the assignments. They have, I want to say, about 5 softwares you can use, all free. Canva is so much fun to use. I enjoy them as well, Megan. But definitely we'll look at the other call it. And she says it's mobile compatible. Never used it on my mobile, but cool, sweet. See, this is why I love for y'all to come to the live sessions. All right, in module 2, that'll be week 2, we're going to look at the different concepts of human development. I like to say the different ideas from different theorists that studied this different, what do you call it? Yeah, I'm just going to call them studies, different theorists, professional, renowned theorists that conducted studies, and they shared the different ideas about how do humans actually develop. That's going to be in module 2. It's kind of like making macaroni and cheese. Somebody might put a little bit of onions in there. Somebody might use heavy whipping cream. Love heavy whipping cream. Makes anything better. Um, so you have different ideas of how humans develop, and you get to kind of turn the pages, if you will, of a book to see the different theories and how they really built off of each other, how humans developed. The most notable one, there's several, but Sigmund Freud, Bandura, Piaget. Is so many theorists out there that says, hey, I just got a pen and paper, and I would watch a bunch of humans and see when they learned and what milestones they are. The most, I'm going to say, let me back up. Children was used first to study behavior. I would write that down. The study of children was the first population to determine how humans develop. Module 3, that's when you really get digging your heels to say the different theories and how they develop humans. Um, Module 4, you look at child development, which is a sweet, sweet time. Love this module where you would develop an infographic with which I think it was Megan that said Canvas is a good software to use for that. And it's so beautiful. When we get to that week, I will show you some samples of how infographics are designed. It's so beautiful, so beautiful. But what you do is you look at the different milestones to say what a child is supposed to be doing at this age. What are they thinking like? How do they socially interact with people? What should they be doing? How do they look physically, cognitively, and social emotionally? Okay. Week 5, module 5, that's when you look at adult development. When you hit, they're talking about us, y'all, everybody in this class. You look at adults, what should you be thinking? Ladies, I'm going to say, for example, when we hit that late 20s, mid to late 20s, early 30s, we're looking at the clock and say, when am I going to get married? Whoo! So yeah, I just use that as a quick example. But you're going to look at adults, and when they get to certain ages, what are their cognitive skills? What are their social emotional skills? And what do they physically look like during this time? And the last week, you're going to look at what influences development. Now, y'all probably would not think that being in a relationship, rather if it's of the same sex or the opposite sex or just a group of friends, what influences you to develop? If we get in a relationship and it starts off like it's springtime, but in about 6 months to a year to 2 years, fall is starting to hit. The end of fall where the colors are changing back to brown. It's approaching wintertime. That relationship has it's turning cold a little bit. In the beginning, it was springtime, flowers are blooming. It was just, the bees were buzzing and the butterflies were there. But when winter comes, what do? Things change, right? You start to grow together, you start to learn each other. Something about this one I don't like. It reminds me of my father. I hated my father, or I love my father. I love my daddy. It makes you smile. I think about my father. He makes me smile. The man I married, mm, the only thing that that man, and I say that man, it's kind of wintertime right now, but whomever raised you, that's either male figure, female figure, we have a tendency to kind of want to keep that familiarity in our lives, good, bad, or indifferent. In this course, we will talk about things sometimes, and this is disclaimer, only talk about what you want to talk about. You don't want to contribute to that conversation. If it's unpleasant for you, feel free. You don't have to share. But this course causes us to step back. And a lot of you said that in the community discussion. Um, you want to learn more about how you became, how did you evolve? Well, it starts when you were a baby. It starts when you were in your mother's womb. What was your mother's pregnancy like? What were your toddler years like? What were your early childhood stages like? That's your most influencing time. Spent a lot of time at my grandmother's house when I was like, what, 10, 9, 8. My mother and father went out on a date. My grandmother would keep us. We're from a small town. And my mother just did not leave us with just friends, her friends. No, she left us with her mother. My sister and I both are kind of, I don't want to call us old stogies, but we're very traditional um, and very conservative. I'm going to use that term. Now, I would take a chance more than my sister will. She would not. She is very secluse, if I'm using the right word. She's much to herself. She sticks up closely with her church family. Those are the people of the church are her best friends. Where I just call me a box of Crayola. I have all types of colors in my crayon box. I like to meet people. I like to talk to people. Today is a little challenging. You have to be. You have to be careful for sure. But it just goes to show you when you grow up with your siblings, um, how you're so different from your siblings. Now, I want to stop before we talk about our week one assignment. I want to go and show you the syllabus. Questions, comments. I want to open the floor. Anybody have any questions or want to share anything before we look at the syllabus? All right, and it is quiet. All right, here we go. Let's see. I think this is the one. All right, here is the course information. There's my name, office hours, 7 p.m., 7 to 8 p.m. Central, my phone number. Take a minute to write that down. You may want to even store my number and IT support in your phones. Those of you, this is your first year, and you never thought about that. IT support is in my phone. I can be working 2 o'clock in the morning. I will call them. And yeah, so when you have those technical issues, don't hesitate. Give them a call. Some of the issues that different students like may experience if they have what do you call it? iPad, a MacBook. Sometimes there is difficulties experienced when trying to access the recording and also um, accessing different things that you need for school. So make sure if you have any of those devices, you're going to need IT support. They just operate differently. Okay. All right. Call me anytime. Up until 9 o'clock. But definitely send me an email and I will get back to you the next day within 48 hours for sure. Y'all, these are course competencies listed here. What you're going to do in this course, you're going to do a lot of research. Okay. You're going to describe different concepts of human development. You're going to look at the different theories that's been developed by the theorists. And then you're going to explain a lot about milestones for different age ranges from infancy to senior adulthood. And then the last week, you're going to look at the different things that influence us to develop. Do y'all remember when you were in high school and we wanted to be with the in crowd? I know I did. But my mother and father's teachings, as well as my relatives, taught you to be independent. You don't follow what your little friends say and do. Be your own person. That is what I grew up with, and that's who I am today. If I'm by myself, say if I started a new job and I did what January of last year, where I was working, we lost the contract, so I had to find work. Um, and with that, I was by myself. I spoke to people, hello, how are you? Nice to meet you. But there are a lot of times I was alone. I would take my lunch every day, which was fine. But what brought me to that place to be okay with that? It started when I was a child from my family. My nickname is Bonnie. And my mom and dad told me, don't follow the crowd. If people don't want to be with you, they don't want to play with you, you have toys at home. Wait till you get home, play with your own toys. So they taught independence from a child. And today I have friends, they can't do anything without their group. Class, I'm 58. I have friends of all ages, older than me, much younger than me, same age as me. And it's a Friday night and I don't have anybody to hang with. I'm okay. I work hard all week long. I work 2 jobs. So Friday nights are usually my nights with some good wings, a glass of wine, and a good movie. With a blanket, I'm a-okay. So I'm just showing you a glimpse of how this course works. Take a look at yourselves and think about who you are. What influences you to be you? How did you become who you are? It started when you was a child. Some childhood experiences was good, great, bad, or indifferent, whatever indifferent brings. Look at how our communities have changed. Look at our government now. It's so much different than it was in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. Some of you may not have even been born, but you see how it is today. Look at young people today. They are so different than when I was a child in the 70s. In this part of the country, you respect your elders. You didn't curse them out. You have daughters and mothers going to the same party places. You have some grandmothers going to the same party places. Our world is changing. It's changing drastically. So, with that, I wanted to stop there and give you a bigger picture of how this course works. This is the text material. Here's your library link, the college links, and this is about the course. I want to show you the calendar when things are due. All of your written assignments are due, and I shared an announcement with everybody. I shared a lot with you during our first week, but these are your grading scales, your writing assignments. Yeah, that's 95% of your grade. Remember, you have to analyze, research, think about things, and then you write about it. Read about it, think about it, then write about it. All in APA formatting. Your writing assignments is 95% of your grade. So what does that tell you? Make sure you do your writing assignments every week. You want to do them all, but sometimes they're missed. Some assignments are missed. Your live classroom is 5%, but it's 30 points of your grade. And there you have it. 5, 7, and 30 gives you 100%. This is the grading scale. Y'all are familiar with that. And there's more information. Definitely just make sure you go through that. The attendance policy, the late policy, if it's late, is 10% off your points every day. However, life does happen. If you reach out to me ahead of time and you say, Ms. Bowens, I am sick as a puppy. I cannot hold my head up. I had an emergency. Be truthful. But if you let me know ahead of time, I'll be glad to work with you. Okay. All right. Make sure you read the rest of the policy there on the syllabus. And y'all been here a long time, so I think you're very comfortable with that. It is, let's see, it is 30 after hour of the hour. I want to show you this for module 1. This is week 1. This is your research assignment here that we're going to look at your research methods in study of human and development. That is your reading for this week. I'm going to click on it. And then you click on begin. The history and research practices in human development, the study of development. There's one particular thing I wanted to show you in this paragraph. Oh, it's not coming to me fast enough. I've taught this class so many times. I know exactly just about what's in there. But anyway, the study of human development examines the milestones, physical, meaning what your body looks like, because it will change when you hit 40, your cognitive, which is your thinking style, and your social and emotional domains. The purpose of theories is to describe, explain, and predict. Theories are developed through research, and their usefulness is dependent on whether the research continues to be valid. Now, select the pluses here, and it's going to expand on these different theories. Darwin talks about the concept of environment. The study of development considers in the environment by examining the influences of it on the individual. Environments is a broad term that describes household dynamics, the community, which we just talked about, and aspects of a broader culture. Culture can consist of work, ethnic backgrounds, different organizations that you're with, your work environment, all of these things influence us. So I'm just showing you how to do your research. Darwin is one of the theorists, and his thoughts were to shape the conversation about how environment influences growth. Environmental influences growth right here. Ideas such as sensitive period, which is a time that is biologically optimal for certain capacities to emerge because the individual is especially responsive to environment influences. The study of attachment as it relates to the parent-child relationship is a prime example of this. Y'all think about that. This is what Darwin, he's a theorist. And when a baby is born, it attaches itself to something. Now, if that baby grows into a toddler and there's not good experiences in that home, the child may develop attachment disorder. If that parent continues to disappoint the child by leaving them and they're crying and they may be hungry, that influences so much. What about a child that didn't have and they didn't have food like somebody else that's better off financially? Well, when they grew up, they always made sure their children had food. It was a motivator for that parent, with that child that didn't have when they grew up. It was their motivation to make sure that child had. Can any of y'all think of any other examples of experiences as a child, and maybe your own, that is a strong motivator for you today? That's a huge question. So I'm going to look at the chat, and then we're going to look at our assignments, and then we're going to turn back to our homes. Now, I want to look in the chat if anybody want to use their mic to think about experiences as a child that grows into a motivator. It could be anything. Stacy, what about you? Does anything come to mind? And if nothing comes to mind, I understand. But anybody else? What about you, Ashley? Does the question make sense? Okay, I sure would, Denicia. The question is, think about a time when you were a child, whether if it was a good experience or if it was bad. Mostly bad experiences are the ones that is a motivator for us. What if, like, I'll give you an example of my niece. My niece is what, 34, 35, something like that. And her parents, my sister and her ex-husband, divorced when they were children. He was abusive. And the little girls, a little boy and a little girl, and I don't mind sharing because this helps the understanding. Well, she is very hard on men. And what I mean by that, um, if they exhibit certain characters of anything remotely close to her dad, which again was abusive, she shuts it down. She doesn't play any games. She is independent. She will go to restaurants, take her books. She would sit in a restaurant. She would take trips by herself and she's okay. Well, I'm the same way. I say I'm the same way. Um, there was some domestic in my home growing up, but my parents were children when they got married, and alcohol plays a part. My mother did not take any stuff off my dad. But when I tell you, class, when they started off that way as young married couple, my mom had a stroke when she was 56. My father took care of her to the day she died, all the way to the point of putting makeup on her. My sister would do her nails because that's just how my mother was. Her nails were always done, her makeup was always on. She couldn't do for herself. But the point that I'm sharing with y'all, it started out, my mother got pregnant at 17. They got married, I think she was 18 or 17, one of them. But my dad was a school teacher. all my life, he was a school teacher. Look what I'm doing. I teach school in a different way. He taught high school. The point I'm sharing with you is where we come from as children, it becomes a motivator. I refuse to be attached to a man that was abusive. So I have a strong personality that when it comes to that, Benita does not play. My niece, Courtney, she's that way now. And I didn't get married until I was 42. And I'm praying that she will not wait as long as I did rather, so she can at least have children. Now I have nieces and nephews, but I don't have any children. One of them, but I don't want her to be so armored, if you will, from a man. And that's how deep class discussions can go in this course because that's where we come from. We all got different walks of life. Some of us can be have similar stories, but a lot of times we experience some of the same things. Okay, but back to the question, as far as back as you remember, what's some of the things that happened in your childhood that is a motivator for you? I shared the example of me and my niece of when there was domestic issues in the home, it made us armor up towards men. And that's just our experience. You will have a different one, or you may have the same one. But I do see we share some stories in the chat. And Denise has shared an example for her is that her mom was very strict growing up. Mine too. I'm working on that now, but I realized I was a people pleaser because I was always expected to do what was wanted and needed. Denise, let me tell you something. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I can share that with you. I share that with you rather being a people pleaser. But the older I got, more knowledge I got, more wisdom I got, and the candle for that just starting to go out. The older you get, yours will too. Thank you for sharing. That is such a perfect example. Avery said, my parents got divorced when I was young. It has made me more self sufficient than my peers who did not experience that. Absolutely. Now, my mother was a loving woman. She did anything for anybody, and we get ready to wrap up. Um, she loved caring for people. And I want to say that I got that from her. There are things I got from my father. There's some things I got from my mom, of course. Um, but that motivation this is another perfect example. The question was, what in your childhood is a motivator for you in your adulthood? These are two perfect examples. When income is divided, that child, sweet Avery, learned to have her own stuff. And that was the point of bringing up my mother being a sweet, loving woman. She was a Christian woman, but she used to say, Bonnie, have your own shit. Those were her words, in quotes. Have your own. Don't depend on a man to have. My mom got married in 1964, 65, 63, one of them, 64. And back then, um, they were they were young adults during the time of desegregation. So she had to depend on my father, which was on a teacher's salary. She had to depend on him until eventually she got a job. But she preached that and she taught that be independent. So I asked you the rest of the class, think back to a time where what was your motivation from your childhood? I love it, y'all. Thank you. Look at the rest of your reading here. You just scroll down. There it is. They have some interactive activities at the end, which is they have a knowledge check, research practice review. So usually I will point to where you do your research. We will talk through some things and I show you how to navigate. You can exit here or you can just exit here. And your assignments, your assessments where you will do, there's your course project introduction. And I know I'm over. Make sure you reach, go through that little clip. And then your assessment is where your paper is. And this is where your articles are. You're going to analyze research methods used in the study of human development. Okay, as a part of your training as a research assistant, you're expected to revisit and deepen your understanding of historical issues in human research and the relevance to current practices. I mean, how was it done yesterday? How's it being done today? The presentation was based on one of the following. So you choose either one of these studies: Tuskegee, syphilis study, Henrietta Lacks, Nazi medical experience, and thalidomide. These are four. You choose either one. This is a heavy hitter in points. Make sure that it's a total of 65 here. Points. This is the instructions. Your presentation, after you read it, I would encourage you to take notes as you go through it. When you read it, just have a piece of pen and paper that you have designated for this course. Write down certain things. You want to first define ethics in human research, explain the background of whatever study here that you chose. Then explain the roles of the IRB. Remember, I said that's like the mom and pop of the home. They protect the children. IRB protects participants that are involved in studies to make sure they're not mistreated. Also, if there was no IRB, explain how IRB oversight could have helped. Questions on that. And then you're going to submit it. Now, we're at the end. It's 44 minutes, and usually I'd say always week one because I like to talk to you. I mean, we talk in our other classes, but I want to make sure that you, one, understand what is this course about. For you, it's an elective. Some of you may be part of your degree program outside of an elective. I don't know, but I like to explain to you where to find things. That said, your calendar, click here. I usually look at it by the month. Written assignments are due on Sundays. Your live class response is due on Sundays. Your weekly discussions posted on Tuesdays, all 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time with the university. So Tuesday nights are a live class session, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. That is 9 p.m. for me. All your written assignments are due on Sundays. Your live class code response is due on Sundays. Responding to at least one class member is due on Saturdays. So you got Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now, let's see, what else did I want to show you? Questions as I go through this, y'all. All right, let's open up the chat. Make sure everybody's good before I give you the code response for this week. You will have one every week. This is it. What I like to do is encourage you to, after you finish class, go ahead and drop it in and get it out of the way. Easy peasy. All right, so Megan shared, that's amazing that Tuskegee syphilis study is being used. Too few people are aware of it. Absolutely. Absolutely. So with that, have your pens ready. I'm getting ready to pause for a millisecond, and I'm going to give you the code response um, for week one. Where do you put it? I don't like to take for granted. All right, let's go down. You click on live class. You put your response here, and it's worth 10 points. Those points add up. So our code response question for tonight is, what is that motivator that came from your childhood that is your motivator today? We had 2, 3 examples. I shared one. I think Megan shared one. I think Avery shared one, if I'd said that right. Denicia shared one. Avery shared one. And I shared one. So you had two examples tonight. That's your code response. Easy peasy. What is the motivator that stems from your childhood that motivates you today? What does that question have to do? It's about reflecting in a time in your life that was in a milestone of childhood, or it could have happened in your teenage years, or it could have happened in your adult years. But I'm asking you to reflect on your childhood time, life, and what motivator came from your childhood that you are motivated by today. Class, that wraps us up. I'm going to open the floor. Do we have any comments before we bid ourselves good night? Some of you may start doing your assignments. Some of you have already started and turned them in. I love it. Whoop, whoop. No comments from anybody? Megan, Ashley, Denicia, Avery, Stacy, Mildred, welcome, welcome. No comments from anybody. You are just fine, darling. You are fine. All right, Denise says all good. Y'all have an awesome week. Stay safe when you leave your homes and when you're on the highway. Be careful. Um, just be safe and enjoy life as much as you can. If you need me, as even after this class, y'all, please do not be shy. Give me a call. Okay. Have a good night, Stacy. All right, Ashley. Avery said, I was wondering that the weekly live co-response is, yep, we give it at the end. Okay, but you good now, Avery? You're so cute. All right, y'all. Have a great week and have a good night. Take care. Bye-bye.